Good morning, everyone. It's June 24th, 2020. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing? It's been a few days. You know, sometimes you need to unplug from the internet and all the articles and the a never-ending deluge of bullshit. And I grow weary of it. How about you? So today's video is going to be a little different. I'm not going to really reference an article or anything of the sort here today, but rather I'm going to talk about the things to come. What's to come is the biggest collapse in human history. The complete collapse of human civilization. This, it will seem like one event at the time, but this is not the case. So, why am I saying this? Why am I saying that this is the biggest, this will be the biggest thing to happen since civilization itself was created? Since the Pyramid Wars, since the Deluge. And we who, for one reason or another, who will remain alive through it all, we will bear witness to these events, and we have already begun bearing witness to these events. So, again, this will be the biggest catastrophe since human civilization began. And the reason is, for the first time in human history, we have the ability to kill nearly everyone on the planet. In other collapses, the collapse was localized. It was in more or less one geographical area. But in this case, we live in a globalized world where our economies are all linked together, right? Not only are our economies linked together, but our communications networks, in a lot of ways, our governments are also linked together. And these governments, most of them have developed weapons that give them the ability to commit murder on a mass scale. And we've seen this during the 20th century, right? The horrific events of the 20th century. Well, you can look at those events and understand in some form what is to come. Do I tell you this for fear, to scare you? No, no. You see, I am an advocate for information. And I don't talk about these things because I'm afraid, or to make you afraid. And frankly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, there's not really any adequate way one can be prepared for what's coming. But you got to try, right? You gotta put your best foot forward and face it. That's the only way to deal with your problems. And we as human beings have created a whole lot of problems for ourselves. And that's exactly the mechanisms that are causing our slide, our descent into, I'm not really sure what to call it, to be honest with you. We'll call it collapse for now. Maybe one of you can give me a better term. But it is the decisions we've made collectively as human beings, as well as governments, and that's led us to this point. And there's no way to stop it. Anyone who tries to tell you that we can stop what's coming, there's not stopping it. There's no amount of effort will stop the collapse of civilization. And it's simply because there's been too many bad decisions made. So as humans, we've gained the ability to kill millions of people all at one time. In a very short period of time, millions of people, because of decisions we've made, can be wiped out just like that. Very easily. Like Brzezinski said, he said that it was easier to kill 1 million people than it was to control 1 million people now. Right? And I jotted down some notes here. That way I would keep my little my thoughts organized. And we've developed multiple mechanisms to this end. Our goal as human beings has been, seemingly anyway, to destroy each other. If that hasn't been our goal, then it's really hard to argue that it hasn't been, because of all of the mechanisms we've developed to kill each other. From spears all the way to fucking nuclear weapons and biological weapons, right? All these things were created to kill each other. Guns. No, I'm not becoming an anti-gunner. Obviously, one needs these things as a result of the decisions that's been made by us and on our behalf. So, and it's not just weapons that has the ability that's given man the ability to wipe out each other en masse. It's also things that can happen by accident, like nuclear power plants, like having bioweapons labs. Accidents can happen. They do happen. And these are all a result of decisions that's been made. Again. So a single event isn't the culprit here. It's not going to be a single event, but rather it is a accumulation of events that began at the beginning of our civilization, human civilization. And there are a lot of them. But the biggest thing we've done wrong as a civilization is giving small groups of people the ability to make demands and commands on the rest of the population. No matter where you live, it's that way. A small group of people have been given the power over the lives of the people of their nation. They've been given the ability to make decisions, and let me add, bad decisions on the behalf of everybody else. And a lot of people live under a delusion that they have actual say-so in our future, in our destiny, in our political arena, because you get to vote for one person or another, in our case, in America, and other places too. You get to cast a vote, right? Never thinking of those who have come before them. Never taking into account the decisions made throughout the history of our country. And this would apply to all the other countries, those people as well. And it doesn't seem like any of these so-called leaders make good decisions. There's been a few of them that do occasionally make good decisions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every decision that's been made has been a bad decision. But the bad decisions are really big ones. Like, for example, Japan. The decision to put Fukushima where it's located, you would think that it was rooted in logic because nuclear power, they need the water there to continuously keep the fuel rods cool. so they're right next to the ocean. It seems like a good decision, right? But if you look at the finer details, such as, is this place prone to earthquakes or tsunamis? And if it is, what is the likelihood that this nuclear power plant will experience meltdown or failure? So on the surface, it seemed like a good decision to put it there. But the further you dig into the details, the more you realize, no, it wasn't a good decision. And this can be applied in many places. Many places. Like here in the United States, we have that big waste facility where it's degraded to the point there's radioactive material leaking out into the ground, right, and into the air as a result of these decisions. So if you add all these things together, if you go back and look at one decision made after another, from all the way from Sumeria to current day, you'll see that slowly all of these events giving these people this power over us is the reason why we're going to experience this collapse of human civilization. One thing after another. And why do I talk about this? Because we're in an election year where blind masses, and listen, if everybody else is doing it, it's probably the wrong thing to do. So we're in this election year, and you're going to get these people like Ellen DeGenerate and Jay-Z and all manner of celebrities, politicians, urging the people to cast their vote. And all the while never realizing that it's never helped humanity to do so. Every single thing government gets involved in turns to shit. War on poverty, there's more poor people. A war on drugs, there's more desperately addicted drug addicts. The war on terror. Again, can you really think of any decision that these people have made over the last 200 years that's been good for us? And if you can, please tell me in the comments section what that decision will be. And I bet if I dig deeper into that decision, I can find a bunch of shit that that happened as a result of that decision. How will you survive? Well, I will tell you this: being out there and among the crowd, the masses. And I'm not saying to be antisocial. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying that, if you participate in things like looting, rioting, assault, murder, cold-blooded murder. I'm not talking about self-defense. All these things. Probably not going to make it very long. And that's the beauty of what's unfolding. Is it's mostly going to be people's individual decisions that end their lives. And that's one of those decisions that won't quickly catch up to you. I know all about making bad decisions and the price that you pay for them. I have a lot of practice. But had it not been for my experiences, I wouldn't have the mental fortitude that I have today. I would not have the strong will that I have. Every bad thing that's ever happened to me has strengthened me. And I hope the same goes for you. I hope that the decisions you've made, even the bad ones, have given you a foresight, knowledge, has given you enlightenment. Because it is the people who are willing to defend themselves, who are willing to take care of themselves, who are willing to help others, that will make it through this. The greedy, the selfish, I guess that's sort of the same thing. The hateful, the angry, bitter. They will be the victims of what's to come. Because they will make decisions that will get them killed. People, we really don't have to do anything to push the pieces off the board. It's happening all on its own without our without our intervention, and that's real. And again, I would be looking for an event on or near the 4th. something else I want to mention before I go here is I saw something about an EMP in China. Let me be perfectly blunt about this. It will not be China that EMPs the United States. It will be the ruling class of the world that EMPs the United States. For reasons I've already outlined in numerous videos, but to nutshell it, because of all the electronic evidence that has been accumulated here on our computers about all manner of things. So, in my opinion, it will be our own people that does it to us and not China. Anyway, thought I would share these thoughts with you. Hope you all have a great day. Kill the state. Live free.